Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It's White Rice Wednesday, which means time for my Survivor recap. So, yeah, tonight is the season finale of Ghost Island, and I think it's been one heck of a season. I kind of watched a little late in the game, so I had it recorded, so because I was at work, so I had to watch it a little bit late. So, let's get started. So, the episode starts off with them talking about Donathan going ballistic at the last tribal. So, he's, the next target at the next tribal council, and Sebastian is tired of hiding behind Dominic and Wendell and wants to make a big move. Now they're at the final six. And Dominic wants Sebastian on the jury next. At the first immunity challenge, it's a classic Survivor maze, but it's the biggest one they've ever had. They have to basically go collect bags and solve a puzzle. Basic, simple. And it ends up being Wendell that wins the immunity. He also won a reward for a steak dinner and potatoes and dessert, and he chose to take Sebastian and Angela. And his choices were, he said, of goodwill, but Laurel thinks it was strategic, and Laurel's very pissed that he didn't pick her. And Wendell then does reveal that he took Sebastian because even though he plans on getting him out tonight, he wants to use as a gesture of goodwill to ensure that he gets a surefire jury vote for him. And Sebastian, when they make a move, this is the last night he can use his extra vote. And Laurel at this point doesn't trust Dominic and Wendell. She feels like she's kind of out of the loop and wants to make a big move as well. And they're all trying to figure out if Dominic has an idol and trying to base their vote off that. And then Sebastian tells Donathan and Angela that he has an extra vote. And Angela then tells Dominic about Sebastian's advantage. So, yeah, so that is exactly why you don't tell people you have an advantage in a game. Sebastian then believes that Dominic only has one idol, so because a lot of people are thinking maybe if he has two, he'll be safe this tribal council, and the next one guaranteed him a spot in the final four. And then Donathan ends up telling Laurel about Sebastian's extra vote. So now everybody knows Sebastian's extra vote. At the first tribal council of the night, Donathan's worried that he's going home, and Dominic is wondering if Donathan is working with Sebastian, and he does reveal that he knows about the extra vote. So that kind of blows Donathan's, the whole plan, out of place, and Dominic then shows that he has an idol and he plans to use it tonight. And Dominic then, in fact, plays his fake idol, taking a big gamble and risk there. And he ends up sending Sebastian home with his extra vote. And Sebastian deserved to go home after going home with his advantage in his pocket. Right then and there, he had the opportunity to use it to get Dominic at, well, I guess, the idol scared him because Dominic did play the idol before. Before Jeff said, if anyone wants to play an idol, now's the time to use it. So, in Dominic's defense, his tactics worked, but Sebastian deserved to go home after that. So, the next part, they went right into the immunity challenge, and they had to swim to a platform and climb up and slide down an obstacle and collect puzzle pieces to solve a 4-piece pyramid puzzle. Yeah, you would think 4 pieces, it'd be easy, but yeah, it definitely wasn't as easy as it looked. And Wendell actually ended up winning a second immunity. So then, Donathan says he wants to take Dominic to the end because Dominic asks him who would he take to the end. He wants to take Dominic because he said that's his only gameplay he has left right now. And says, it doesn't make sense to take Laurel to the end. That Laurel even says her best shot at the end is for them to split the votes between Dominic and Wendell, and Dominic thinks that this is a ridiculous move, but I don't know. Laurel could possibly get some votes because there's a lot of Malolos on that jury. And Dominic and Wendell are prepared to take out Laurel because Laurel is their biggest threat in the game because she has won challenges and she is nice, and Laurel hasn't made any enemies out there. And this is the last time at Final Five that you can use any idols. So Wendell did win an individual immunity, so that means he has an idol. We already know Dominic's safe, but the question is, who is Wendell going to play his idol for? And at Tribal Council, they're talking about, at this point in the game, the person who you take in the end is crucial. That could be $1 million move or $1 million mistake who you take to the end. And Dominic, of course, plays his idol for himself, and Wendell decides to play his idol for Laurel, and it actually was Donathan that got sent home. And I'm very curious, and I'm hoping somebody could comment on this, but didn't Donathan have an idol? I'm pretty sure he had an idol. He had some sort of idol. So did Donathan go home with an idol in his pocket? Because if so, if Donathan had played his idol and Wendell already had immunity, Dominic was safe because he played an idol. Laurel would have been safe because Wendell played his idol for Laurel. So Angela could have potentially went home with no votes against her, like Cirie did in Game Changer. So can somebody please comment below, did Donathan go home with an idol in his pocket or not? So at the final immunity challenge, they had to balance on this wobbly beam and had to basically build a stable ball on 6 bases. And Dominic ended up winning the final immunity, and he got 1 task. And they're all going to go to Ghost Island for a final trip. And at Ghost Island, Dominic doesn't know if Laurel is a viable option to take to the end, and Angela tries to convince him not to take Laurel because she says that Laurel's a talker, and like I mentioned earlier, Laurel hasn't made any enemies, and she's nice, and she could definitely sway the jury. So what Dominic has is an option. There's 3 urns in front of him. He has an option to take one of these urns with him to the finale. The urns are Colby's, Wu, and Culpepper's. Each one of them made the wrong decision to take someone to the end of them, and they ended up being the winner. And Dominic ended up choosing the Cagayan urn, and that was one of my favorite seasons. I love that Tony won. I felt bad for Wu because he did make $1 million mistake because he could have easily have taken Cass with him. And of course he took Tony and he won. So hopefully it doesn't blow up in Dominic's face. What also is a big thing is Dominic is so unsure that he decides to possibly make a gamble and give up his immunity necklace, give it to Angela, and go up against Wendell and try to take Wendell out himself, because both Wendell and Dominic don't want each other to go to the end. At Tribal Council, the cases are that, because Jeff asked what's the case to keep them, and Laurel says that Angela could beat Wendell in the fire-making challenge. Angela says that Laurel is a big risk and that she's a talker, and Wendell, of course, we all know what happened if Wendell. Would be a showdown between Dominic and Wendell. And Dominic ends up choosing to take Laurel to the end, and I like Dominic, but I think that was a stupid move on his part. I would have definitely have taken Angela to the end. I mean, obviously he didn't want to take Wendell because he's his biggest threat out there, so he's obviously going to send him to the fire, and vice versa. Wendell said if it was him that won final immunity, he would have taken Dominic. So I would have taken Angela because she didn't really make any relationships out there, and she was always last in challenges. I wouldn't say she was a GOAT, but she was the perfect person to take to the end. So it was Angela and Wendell in the fire-making challenge, and Wendell won the fire-making challenge. I did not get to see the final tribal, because apparently when I made my recording, it stopped right before they pleaded their cases and the jury got to speak. But I did get to see who won it. And I have to, let me talk about each of the cases first. Laurel had a good case to win because she was on that Malolo tribe. That Malolo tribe was cursed. It's so cursed that even Wendell at the fire making challenge did not want to sit at Orange. And we could tell that Orange was cursed because they switched seats and Angela sat on the Orange seat and she lost. So the fact that that cursed tribe and Laurel was still there at day 39, that says something. And the fact that Laurel was able to keep the alliance with Dominic and Wendell wraps from her other alliances, and that she was able to keep those alliances for so long without anybody knowing, that says a lot. With Wendell, I feel like, he kind of had the similar gameplay as Dominic, but his wasn't... People could argue that Dominic's game was more cocky, Wendell kind of had more of an... I wouldn't say he had an easier game, but I feel like Wendell kind of got along more with people. So, and Wendell was a very strategic thinker. I mean, we saw in this episode, he gave his immunity at the final tribal to Laurel to show that his thanks for being loyal this whole game to Laurel. So that was a strategic move. And he's also won numerous immunity challenges. And the same thing with Dominic. Dominic was more out there, but he wasn't afraid to make big moves in the game. He also won immunity challenges like Wendell. And the fact that none of the people on this whole season could get Dominic or Wendell out is just mind-blowing to me. And Laurel had the opportunity many times to get Dominic or Wendell out, but she didn't. So that's the biggest thing against her. And from what I saw, I'm hoping to watch the actual footage tomorrow, but it actually ended up being a tie between Dominic and Wendell. So that means Laurel would have had to make the deciding vote. And Wendell won Survivor Ghost Island. And I am so proud of Wendell. Congratulations to Wendell on a well-deserved Ghost Island win. I definitely would have been happy with Wendell or Dominic winning, so I'm glad Wendell won. I definitely think that was a blow to Dominic to take Laurel to the end. That was $1 million mistake to take Laurel, so if he hadn't have taken Laurel and he would have taken Angela to the finals with him, I definitely think he would have had a better chance at winning. But I definitely think either one of them would have deserved to win, but I definitely think, Dominic played hard. He wasn't afraid to tell people like it is. He told the truth out. I wouldn't say he told the truth out there, but he told it like it is. So he should be very proud of the game he played. And congratulations to everyone for making it to the finals. And congrats to Wendell for making it. And congratulations to myself because I once again picked the Survivor winner. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next season. Apparently, again, need to watch it because didn't even think to record the reunion show. Because while I was catching up on Survivor, the reunion show was going on. And apparently next season is Survivor David versus Goliath. So basically it's like, I guess, strong competitors versus like underdogs. So it should be an interesting season. I'm hoping to see the 30-second trailer that they show us to maybe get a feel what next season's going to be about. So congratulations, Wendell, on a well-deserved win. And I truly did love Survivor Ghost Island. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And until September, stay regal.